Welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be talking about string formatting. So string formatting is an optional method that gives users more control when displaying output. So I have two variables here. One is an animal, one is an item. We have a frog, which is the animal, and the item is the pad. It's supposed to be lily pad, but I'm too lazy to write lily pad every time, so just pad and you get the point. Okay, so this is like the normal easy way to print it out. The animal jumped over the item, and then when you run the code you get the frog jumped over the pad. But what if we don't want that? What if we want to do something else, which is string formatting? So there's one way you can do it, which is with a print statement that looks something like this. So the jumped, and then the curly braces jumped over the, and then curly braces again. And then after that, before you close it, you put format, and then we have dot format, and then inside the parentheses we have animal and item. And as you can see here, if we run this code, we get the same thing. The way it works is with the first set of curly braces, we get animal inputted into here, and then with the second one, we have that. So if we switch item and animal, it would look something like this. The pad jumped over the frog, but we don't want that. We want it to be animal jumps over the item. Okay, cool. There's another way you can do this with it, which is with positional arguments. And I think I made a video about this before, but we can touch up on it a little bit more. And it's the same thing, the, and then curly braces, and then in here you do 0, and this will make more sense in a bit. Jumped, I can't type today, I'm sorry, over the, and then curly braces again, or sorry, 1, this is supposed to be 1, and dot format to call the method, and then this is supposed to be outside, I'm sorry, dot format animal comma item. Okay, so this is positional arguments. And what would this look like? The same thing. You see right here, 0 is for the index 0, and 1 is for the index 1. So if we switch these again, let's see what happens. You guessed it, it's the opposite. But if we keep them the same, but we change the index, then you guessed it, the same thing happens. Because now we're putting the index 1 first, which is item, and then the animal second, which is frog. So we don't want that. We want to keep it as 0 then 1, not 1 then 0, because that's, yeah. Okay, moving on. There is a third way to do this, and it's print. I should just copy this, and that would make it a lot simpler. Print the, and then instead of 0, you would put animal jumped over the item. And here you would put dot format animal is equal to frog, and item is equal to pad. And of course you need to surround this with double quotes, and the same thing happens. It's just that instead of positional arguments here, we used keyword arguments, which is another thing that I've talked about in another video, but You can watch that on your own time sometime later, but this is keyword arguments, and this is right here is positional arguments. Okay, moving on. Let me just get that little thing out the way. Okay, so there is a couple more things I want to discuss. So here we have text equals, and then dot. Okay, so this is the text variable right here, and this is being stored in it. So we want to print text dot format, and inside the format we want to do animal item. So this is the same exact thing, it's just a different way of putting it. You can, if one of these ways works best for you, you can use it. If this way works best for you, you can use this as well. Personally, I prefer one of these because this is just kind of confusing. But here we have the text variable, and we have the two sets of curly braces. And the first one, as you can see, the text format is going to be animal then item. So if we run this, it's going to be animal then item. And as you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, that's basically it for string formatting, but that was a lie. There's more to it. So let's talk about it some more. So there's name, and my name is Yusuf, so Yusuf, and you can say something like print hello, my name is and then dot format name. Why did that not work? Oh, I forgot the curly braces. Oops. There we go. Rookie mistake, I'm sorry. Okay, so there is another thing that you can do. Another thing that I want to talk about, two more things actually. One is something called padding, and this is with strings. And then there's a couple string formatting techniques I want to touch up on, but they're for numbers, not strings. So for padding, here we have using padding. Let me just make that clear. Okay, we have print. Okay, so padding, as you can see, it's pretty clear. Hello, my name is Yusuf, and then there's about 10 spaces right here. Or no, sorry, not 10 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 spaces, and my name, sorry, not my number, is 6 letters. So 6 plus 4 is 10. And as you can see right here, we have 10. Okay, so there's two different things I want to show you with this padding technique. And the first one is if you replace the 10 with, or not replace it, sorry, but add the greater than sign to it. And the same thing, but the opposite here, the less than sign, or sorry, the less than sign and then the greater than sign, you have something else, which is here. This is the same, like the second one is the same thing as the first one, but here this reverses it. So basically the padding now is the 4 letters in the beginning of the word, and that's the padding, that's the empty spaces, and then the word starts after. But for these two, it's the same thing. It's the word first, and then like the last amount of padding. But if you want, you can make the padding less, or like if I make it 6, you can see right here that there's no padding at all because it's 6 letters. If I make it, like, let's say 25, it'll be a lot more. This is 19. You can count that on your own. These are 19 spaces plus the 6 from my name, so that's 25. But we don't need that, that's a bit too much. We can just leave it at 10. Okay, we're finally done with the string formatting. Now we can move on to numbers. So let me just make two numbers right here. So the first number is 1.23456, and the second one can be num2. Let's just make this num1 and num2, or just num. We don't need num1. Okay, and then we can call this let's say 1000. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is display the first two decimal points of this number. So we say print number is, and then we can say, again, curly braces are the most important thing, and I keep forgetting them, but this is where it goes. So we want to say colon dot 2f dot format num. Okay, and it works. So let me just explain it real quick. Number is, this is just normal string, and then colon. After the colon, we want to say dot 2f. So this stands for, dot is for the decimal, and then 2, or no, sorry, not decimal, but what comes after the numbers, which is the decimal, of course, and then 2, so 2 places of the floating point, floating points, 2 floating points. So this is 2 decimals. So after the decimal, we have 1, 2. So it's going to be 1.23. That's great. Okay, moving on. Now we want to display a comma after every 1000's place. So print let me just copy this, and we want to say for this it's going to be number 2 because this is the one with the thousands place, and number is, and then we want to do that. And as you can see, it works. If I change this to 1 million, then it'll still work. As you can see, every 1000 it adds a point, or a decimal, sorry. So that's good. Okay, next we want to convert the number to binary. Now this is very important. If you're a computer science student, you'd be using this a lot. Okay, so print, and then we want to say inside the print, we want to say the number, or sorry, let me just keep it consistent. Number is curly braces, of course, not normal, and curly braces, and inside the curly braces we want to say colon b, and then of course dot format number, and we want to be using number 2 for this because number 1 is just weird and it's hard to convert it to binary because, you know, decimal. So run it, and this is the binary of this. And if, let's just change it to make it a bit simpler. So let's say, what's a number that we all know in binary? So we have 2, 4, 8. So let's say 8. That's right. 4. Yes, sir. That's right. Okay, let's say 3. Should be 1, 1. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So let's just go back to 1 million. I think that's a million. Okay, cool. Let's go to the next one. And of course, if you're going to be dealing with binary, there are times where you're going to be dealing with octal. So if you want to, you know, if you want to convert it to octal, you can do the same thing, except instead of the B, you just put an O, and that is the octal version of 1 million. Okay, what's next? Next is, of course, hexadecimal. So hexadecimal, we want to do the same thing, but instead of the O, we change it to X. And this is the hexadecimal format. Easy peasy. And of course, if we want to convert it to the scientific notation, we can do the same thing with capital E. And this is it. And if we change it to, let's say, back to 1000, then this is it. You get 1.0000 with plus 03, so 3 zeros. And that is basically it for string formatting in Python. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I hope you learned something new. This looks like a lot, but it's actually really simple, and with more practice you can see that it's really easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.